All right, this is a continuation of the previous video, continuation of the to-do app that we are building with useContext and useReducer. Okay, so you are not lost, right? This is the continuation. This is the part 2 of it. Now, in the previous video, something happened. I've made some changes because when I tried to run it, it did not work. It's something happened. Okay, so I did some corrections. Actually, here was to do, so it should be to do's. Okay, because we are using these to do's. Where is it? I using this to do's context. Then from what to do's, here was to do, so it should be to do's. Then here was to do as well. It should be what to do's. So that was the correction I did. So if you are following, you have to check this, unless it will not work as well. So but if you fix it like this, it's going to work. Okay, so now here we'll add a button, add a to do. Now what I want to do is I want to do a console.log of the to do. So let's see if we are getting it to do. But now we want it to redirect to this route. So let me remove this first. Let me comment this first. Okay, so let's go back to our browser. All right, so let's go back to our browser. Okay, now back to our browser. This is what we're having. Add a to do. Okay, so let's add. Now you can see, let's say call Kingsley. So you can see we are already seeing it there. So that means it's working, right? As we're making the changes, we are seeing call Kingsley is working. But this would add a to do to the array. Okay, so what we want to do now is we'll now create the to-do list component. So let's go back to our VS Code and create the to-do list component. All right, back to our VS Code. So let me uncomment this. Okay, because we want to redirect to the to-do list that we have not created. Okay, so that's the next thing. So let's create to-do list. What's that? Okay, so let's create a to-do list component. Add to do. So we'll create a new component. Save, and delay me. To-do list component. So we'll call this to-dos list. Okay, .js. All right, this is a new component. We import React from React. Though it's going to work. That's it. Then the next thing we'll do is we'll import to-dos context. Okay, to-dos context. I don't have to make a mistake this time. To-dos context. Then we'll import useContext. I don't think we'll be needing use states. Yeah, I don't think so. useContext. Okay, so now let's export default. function to-do list. Okay, these are components. So what do we need? We need to destructure some things. So first of all, we need to destructure. Now, if you can remember, we need to destructure. We'll go back to the value and see. This time we need to destructure the to-do list. Okay, then we don't need the add to do here. We need to destructure remove to do and complete to do. Okay, so let's go. So the to-do list, the remove to do, was it like this? Remove to do, then complete to do. Okay, we'll use the useContext hook, then we'll pass in the to-dos context. All right, let's check again if I'm not spelling anything wrongly, because anything misspelled will not work. Okay, I think it's okay. So we have what we have. So we have to return. Want to return a GSS. First of all, we need a div, a class name, to-do list. Then in that div, what do we want to do? We want to map through the to-dos. So don't forget we have the to-do list now. So we'll map through it to get the individual to-do. Okay. Then okay, so we'll map through it to get the individual. Okay, I don't need to, because I want to write another div. So we have a key, requires a key. If you don't put this key, React is going to react. Okay, React will complain, React will react. Okay, so we have to put key that takes the to-do ID. All right, now inside this div, this is where I want to output the to-dos. So let me just use h4. So I will need the to-do dot to-do. Okay, we'll need the to-do h4 again. We'll need the to-do dot time it was created. So we'll need the date, to do dot date. Okay, we'll need, now let's give this a class of card. I think I already have that styled already, so I don't think so, but let's see. Now we'll need the time it was created. We'll need the to do itself. What else do we need? I think we'll need a button. Definitely we should need a button. Now this button will be for what? On click of it, we want to remove the to do, so this will be the delete button. So let me just close this and call it delete. So here we will now need the remove to do function that takes in what? The to do ID. So this is where we pass the ID that will become what? The payload. Okay, so remember when I said that we'll be passing the ID, so it's now we are passing the ID, to do ID, that becomes what? The payload. Okay, so this is what we'll be using to select each to do that wants to delete. So we're passing this ID, and we'll receive it here. We'll use it to dispatch this action, and it's going to come here, fire it here, and it's going to filter out the to do. Okay, so I think that will be that. The next thing is we need another button to dispatch the complete to do. All right, so callback function, then we use complete, or mark. Let me say mark. So this should mark it to do. Now it's empty, so let's put something inside. Now we'll call the complete to do. The complete to do function, will pass in the ID. Now we have access to the ID. Why? Because we are mapping through each of the to do, so we have access to the ID. Okay, so let's save. I'm going to do something yet. Okay, so let me see. Okay, let's save and go to the browser and see what we have. So back to our browser, let me go to nothing is working. Wow, I've not imported it. Sorry, I think I made that mistake the first time. Okay, I have to import it again. Kind of forgetting to import. So I have to go to the app.js and import it. So let's import the to-do lists. So automatically React will do that for you when you type it like that. So let's take this guy up. So we'll go to our browser again. This time we should have it. We should have it. We are not having it. So what will be wrong? 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 Okay, well, it should be showing. So why is it not showing? Okay. Okay, let's add it to do. I don't think we've added it in to do, so let's add it to do and see. So let's add it to do. Okay, so this is it. It's actually working. Okay, so this is it. Saturday, it's giving us the time as well. So this is call Kevin, right? So you can see. Okay, so it's actually working. So you can see it's working already. It's called Kevin. This was the time it was created. This was the time. Okay, so now let's work on the mark. When you mark it, what happens? When you click the complete to do, what happens? What do you want to see? So when I click it, I want to put a line through this. Then what else I want to do? I want to show the time it was completed. Okay, so let's work on that now. I think this card, I have to give this a margin. I have to do some corrections there. So back to our VS Code, I want to give it, I think I should give it a padding. It needs a padding. This is padding. Then let's make it 30%. This is a padding. That's not all. It needs a margin to separate each. So I'll give it a 10%. 10%. I think that should separate it. Then this. Okay. So I want to put a line through when the complete is. So we'll create. Okay. So I want to put a line through here. So I want to style this differently. So I'll say style. Now test decoration. So what I want to do is when the completed button or the complete button is clicked, I want to put a line through on this to do to show. So test decoration. If to do dot completed dot completed. Was it completed we used or complete? I think it's completed we used. Okay, that's completed. So what happens? It should be what? A line through. A line through. Is that not true? Yeah. X. What happens? I should take the default. Then it should show the complete time. So let's create a span for that. This will really show if to do dot completed if it's true. If this is true, it should show let's another span. Alright, this is the ternary operator. So if this is true, the condition is true, it should show the time it was completed. So it will be to do dot completed time. If it's not true, it shouldn't show. So once this is true, it should show this. So let's save and check what we've done. All right, so let's add another to do. Call Kevin. Learn TypeScript. So we have two to-dos. Call Kevin. This was the time it was created. Date. So if I click mark, now you can see there's already a line through. Okay, and this was the time it was created. So when I click mark, there's already a line through, and this was the time it was created. So let's try the delete. Ta-da! It works. Okay, you can delete as well. So we don't have what to do again. So you can create new to-dos. All right. All right, feeling exhausted already. So create another to do. So if you mark through it, okay. So you can see. So these are what the to dos. Alright. So our functionalities, they are all working. So they are all working, and I'll just go over it again. What we did, I'll go over what we did again. So back to our Sublime, back to our VS Code. So what we did, first thing we did was to create a to-do context where we imported the useReducer create context. We use create context to create the to-do context. Then we created initial states, to-do lists, then an actions, then the to-do reducer that takes in state and action, then switch action dot type, case action dot. So the switch takes in the types, okay, where we run these functions. Then action dot remove takes now return. It's going to return this an array and filter out with the ID that doesn't matches. Then the complete, okay, it's going to map through the existed to do. It's going to check if the ID that is coming in, if it's the same thing, then it's going to return a new object, whereby it's going to flip the completed to be what, to be true, the completed time to be what, this will be the time as it was completed. Then we created a to-do provider that takes in children. Then this is where we make use of what, the useReducer. Okay, then we created a value because it must have a value as well. All right, then at the end of the day we returned the to-do-context.provider value to context. Then we went to our app.js to wrap everything, okay, with the to-do provider, such that any component that is inside this, we have access to the value. That's very important. That's a very important part, because we are trying to using useContext to avoid props draining. Okay, so what we did was we've taken our value here already, so, and we've already our values, we've already wrapped the app.todo with what, the to-do provider. So any component that is inside this will have that value. Do you get it? So we have what, access to that value, so without using what, props. So that's the idea of this video. That's why I did this video, so I will show you how to use context with useReducer to make an application without using what, props. As you can see, we didn't use props here. We only made use of what, the use context. We passed in the to-do context and we have access to the values. So yeah, what I did here was to destructure the ads to do, right? So I think then so basically, so at the end of the day I didn't later use this, but if you have seen my video on the to-do app that I did, you see how I did more on that, and I used this as well. But anyways, so this is just for you to know how to use it and how to combine it. So in case you have issues, you have problems, and you can just reach out to me on anything that maybe you are trying to do it and it's not working. Just reach out to me and I will respond to you ASAP. Okay, so so this is to-do lists. All right, so this is where we structure the to-do list, remove to-do function and complete to-do function that we've created already. Then we map through the to-do list to get all this. All right, so you can see what we did. Okay, so this is it. So the case it is not clear to you, but I believe I have done some explanation. So in case it's not clear, just reach out to me, but I believe you can try this on your own, and if you don't get it, go over the video again. You should be able to do this on your own. So this is basically what we did. So now for this remove to do, this is the todo.id that we are passing through. We are getting it here. And we are dispatching this actions.remove. So this is it. Do you get it? Therefore, the complete to do, you are getting the ID as well, and the action is action.complete because we defined the actions before. Then payload, this is the to do ID as our payload. So I think basically that's it. Okay, so let's go back to application again and play with it. So we can delete and delete. Okay, so that's all for this video. See you in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you haven't. Make sure you click the subscribe button.